We read the signals. We measure the skills. From EAS to ATU. Every byte becomes ability.
Start with the question, what tools unlock the light? Hands trace data, hearts map insight, diagnostic spark, assessment begins, where evaluation ends, innovation spins. Hand off in motion, precision in play, EAS to ATU, light in the way. Every user, every goal, one signal turns into control. Signal to solution, system alive, tech in rhythm, where the users thrive. From lab to classroom, from desk to floor, access ignited, ability soars. Signal to solution, pulse and sound. Every innovation breaking ground. Screen readers whisper in digital tone. Braille displays hum, independence grown. Smart glasses guide, AI interprets the view. The future's accessible, built by what we do. Upload skill sets, calibrate need, match the device up, accelerate speed. From student to worker, pathways align. Technology, human, perfectly designed. Signal to solution, data to dream. Every evaluation powers the team. EAS to ATU, seamless flow. Empower the talent, let the future glow. In every tone, a new connection. In every hand, direction. This is how we see beyond sight. Signal to solution. Into the light.
Hello, my name is Tim Shaw, the Manager of Evaluation and Support Services with the Department of Blind Services. I manage the Assistive Technology Unit, the Customer Technology Services, and the Vocational Diagnostic Unit. I'm here today to talk to you about assistive technology. If you watched my first session, AT from referral to results, then you learned a little bit about the AT process. You learned about referring to the EASs, why they look at different categories of technology, why they recommend them for each customer, and how you get referred to ATU. Now we're here to discuss receiving that referral at ATU or one of our contract sites, and how we demo the technology and give you an idea of the different types of technology. Now we have many different devices in this lab. So we're just going to be looking at a few different devices that are commonly selected today, but in the future we plan on rolling out many more videos so you can get a more in-depth idea of the technology we have and the ways we've seen customers utilizing it. So that being said, welcome to the Assistive Technology Unit.
With an inventory of dozens of assistive technology devices and software, we boast one of the largest inventories of assistive technology in the country. This allows us to provide customers with the in-depth evaluations they need to determine the best tools for their needs. We have upgraded the lighting in the lab to smart LED lighting so that we can adjust the lighting to better simulate the customer's home, school, or work environment.
I'm now going to pass it off to my team so they can give you demos of the different technologies.
Hello, my name is Aaron Hoffman. I am an assistive technology evaluator at the Texas Workforce Commission, the Assistive Technology Unit. We're located in the Chris Cole Rehabilitation Center in Austin, Texas. Today, I'd like to show you one of the many categories that we deal with when we're evaluating customers. Some customers benefit a great deal from desktop magnifiers, which can make things larger and change colors. Others might need a smaller solution, such as a portable magnifier that they can carry around, or a handheld magnifier that they can have in their pocket. Others will take a more high-tech route and come to a more wearable option. And today I'm going to show you some wearable magnifiers. I'm going to show you two magnifiers today. One magnifier is very large. It's great for blocking out residual light and magnifying for very fine motor tasks such as sewing. Another device, such as the one I'll show you presently, is called the eSight Go. This is very helpful for doing things on the go. Not recommended, obviously, for driving or mobility, but for other tasks such as watching things, observing things. And these devices can even connect to computers. Some devices, such as the eSight Go, also have remote controls. So I'll bring this closer so you can hear.
Tilt. Zoom. Contrast.
So we have devices here that can make things larger. You can see things at a distance. Also, we can change color contrast. So white on black, black on white, blue on yellow, green on black, that sort of thing. We can also have monochrome, and we can have what's called edge mode for very thick outlines around things, sort of image manipulation. So if you'll think of something that's cell shaded, or maybe that old song, Take on Me, for example, something that has very thick outlines, you'll be able to differentiate things very easily. For example, if you work on computer hardware, you'd be able to seed in RAM very quickly because you could tell where the components are, where the slots are, differentiate different things. Different use cases for these devices would be someone who needs to do very fine motor tasks, sewing, threading, manufacture. Not recommended for walking because it'll throw off your sense of balance. And for other devices, some will block out your peripheral vision, which may be a good thing for you if you don't need to see as much residual light, if you have light sensitivity, for example. Other times you'll have full open glasses like the eSight Go, which will not block out residual light, but they're more portable. Other device here, the Patriot Viewport, does not have a remote, but it has swiping controls along the side of the device. It's a repurposed gaming headset. So it has controls for zooming, for color contrast, even reading out loud if you need to. There are different configurations available for different customers. The wearable magnifiers I've shown you today are just one category that we'd like to show you. I'd like to show you another category for tablets we evaluate on. They're very common around the household, and they've gotten very accessible. Many students that you will be helping are very comfortable with modern technology. You're going to find a lot of students who are comfortable with iPads, with their phones, with their tablets. We'll be looking at an Android and an iPad. A lot of students will be coming from a classroom and they may use Google. They may use the Chrome tablets, Chromebooks. And they may have their iPhones or Androids. And luckily, the jump from phone to tablet is very minuscule. It's very exciting because the same ecosystem is there. And we will find a lot of the same applications, the same gestures. There's the same mouthfeel, if you will. If you have a student who has used Mac, iPads, for their classwork, they will find, oh, I'm going to use a Mac for college, and they'll be able to jump on there with Canvas or whatnot very easily. I'd like to show you an iPad that we have here. Just say
9:46 a.m. Locked. Hover text off. Button. Image. Hover text off. Button. Image.
So here we have an iPad, 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And we offer these to show customers when they come in. We show them to customers. There are many applications available that they can use for accessibility, such as magnifier, which will make things bigger and turn the screen into, a magnifier, just like a CCTV. There are also applications like Be My Eyes, Seeing AI, and DotPad, which are very helpful for reading Braille and using the camera to scan things around the room and get information from them. We also have applications that will help read to us, such as Voice Dream Reader, that can help you read your textbooks, and the Accessibility Reader introduced in iOS 26, which can help with reading different content very quickly. So the ecosystem is very important for students. If they're comfortable with something, they're more likely to just take an iPad, for example, than to look at different categories and say, I want A and B and C, when they already know they're comfortable with D. The same applies to our Android tablets.
9:48 a.m. System UI. Swipe with 2 fingers to open. Notes button. Double tap to activate. Screen off.
We also have Android tablets, and these can come in different configurations. A very large 14-inch here, or a very small 7-inch mini. Same with the iPads, a 6-inch mini. This for smaller ones, just even pocket size, because if you're completely blind and you're using Braille, let's say, or you're using a Bluetooth keyboard, you obviously won't benefit much from the screen. So you can use the sides and just keep it in your backpack. I've had students use that. Tablets are very convenient for students, and they can connect peripherals to them. They have a great lifespan. This has been another category we've taken a look at, and we're going to take a look at another category. Thank you.
Action. Hey everyone, I am Marcus Manning, and I am here to talk about this category, the book reading category. If you are familiar at all with Braille, one page of Braille is it's neat to look at, but when it comes to reading a book or say a novel, then you're talking about a lot of Braille. So it's interesting to when we now get to have devices where we could deal with information electronically, because we could be more efficient. I can carry more on these devices and manage all of my books, my electronic information, as well as all of my media. It's been around for probably 18, 19 years now. It's going through, this is the third iteration of this device. It's the Victor Read'em Stream 3. It has onboard storage and some neat development to it. The way it feels now is different with the rounded edges. Very sturdy device. One of the things here we notice, it's made by Humanware, and Humanware does an awesome job with these devices where I can touch and tactually control. In some cases, you all may know that phones you could use to read books or electronic information, but on the phones you would have to swipe in order to get to something. But on these devices, I just put my hand in a particular place and touch a button, and I could get to things without actually having to pull my device out and swipe. And so it makes for more efficient and actually maybe doing some things where I may not be in a position to take my phone out and swipe. I could control this with one hand. If you notice here, I have textual markers up, down, left to right. I could really feel those, but all the buttons are circular, or, it's very, very defined, very simple design in terms of how the buttons are laid out. That's one really popular reason for this device. This device has a bookshelf, like a on a line bookshelf and an offline bookshelf. The offline bookshelf is about dealing with your local content. Like if you had any notes, if you record notes, or if you carry text files or document files, that could be read on this, and I would carry those. Or if I had audio books that I could listen to, that would be one example of local content that I would carry on an offline bookshelf. On an online bookshelf, I could deal with podcasts or web radio stations, any of those sorts of things. So the Victor Stream is a neat device for dealing with all of my media that I want to carry and have control on and have access to whenever. It's been very popular with if you're in college or in the workplace, but definitely for your college students, they would love this device because you get access. You have it reads PDF documents, text files, and I would just be able to be on the go and be able to use this device to listen. Either if I'm listening to a lecture, I can press that button right there and just quickly put a bookmark, because I need to get back to that place at the drop of whenever I need to. There's so many reasons why this has been a very handy device for people who need to carry and use media on the go. This is called the Sense Player, and as you notice, it's a bit more complex, but it's very handy. It's a book reader as well. You can do all of the same things as far as reading electronic documents and accessing your podcasts, your web radio stations. But if you notice, it goes a little in beyond with the Sense Player. It's like to the max here because it has this row of buttons across the top. We have this one, which is a mode button, which allows us to move through my favorite applications that I'm going to use. We have this button, which here is for Wi-Fi. On this device, it uses like a soft press. Like if I just press something real quickly, I could, in this case, turn on and off the Wi-Fi just by that simple press. If I do a deep press, well, then I could get like the list of all of my availability of the Wi-Fi. So there's different presses on this. I have this one for Wi-Fi, this one for Bluetooth, so I can cycle it through my different Bluetooth connections there. And this one is for Smart Connect. This device is one that I could Smart Connect to, say, my iPhone or my Android device or another Selvis product like a Brelson 6, and I could remote control that device. And matter of fact, I could go a step beyond that and bring the audio over. Then I could hear all what I would hear on my phone. One of the main benefits in terms of when I have people come in that need a book reader, I point out, well, this one also has OCR, so it has optical character recognition, and I could either use it by itself and have a technique for reading a paper. It could do a single paper, or it could do batch scanning. It'll read, printed document, and does real well with that. So it has that OCR there, and also in the application, you could take external files. Because I could use a micro SD card on here, somehow. So if I have an external file like a PDF, then I could read that with the application as well. The Sense Player is on the Android operating system, so it has access to any of the applications that you can get on the Android Play Store. So that's another plus as well. So you could always try to use, for example, Be My Eyes or Lookout on this device and use the camera in the back. So the Sense Player is another device that is good for anybody that wants to keep information, manage information. As blind people, we always need to have access our electronic information or media files, and the Sense Player is a very strong device for students or any blind professional needing to access and use information. It connects, both of these devices connect with Bluetooth, and they use SD cards that can go up to like a terabyte, and so very powerful devices for keeping and managing media. This category, which is Braille note takers, actually I'm pulling from two categories. I want to make sure I'm transparent in this. So I'm going to talk about the Braille note taker category and the textual graphics category. The act of reading, actually having literacy, is so important. The person loses their vision. They may have learned to read, but having literacy now means that I have to figure out how to read as a blind person. And so I came these electronic devices here. I had a device called the Braille and Speak, and that was one of the original devices. And now there's this device called the Braille Sense 6, come a long way. And this device does everything that you could do on your tablet. Either you use an iPad, or if you use an Android, a tablet. That's what this device does, except for, if you see, it looks a little different because it has a Braille display here at the bottom. So all the information that I need, I can access through my fingertips here. And I use these scroll buttons to scroll up and down and read line by line, or I have scroll buttons on either side. And I could, if you all probably see here, the Perkins input here, these dots here. So this device, I not only can actually take notes. That's what I originally used my device that I had back in the 87, 88 called the Braille and Speak. I could just type in. On this device now, I can type in, use note application. It has a word processor application. It also has access to online. It has a way to manage my files. It has media player, library. It has an organizer, so I can access like my calendar and contacts. I can organize my to-do lists and my like a database. I have a database manager. It has web tools, so I have a browser on the device. One thing about this device is that it was developed by blind developers, and so they think about what would be efficient for us as blind people to use. And so it has its own browser, but it is built on top of the Android operating system, so it has access to browsers like Chrome and Edge as well. So I could download those and use on the device. I have I have extras here, so I could practice Braille. I have brain games. I have a spreadsheet reader on the device. So many different features on this device, but one of the main things is that, hey, it's a Braille display has a Braille display on a note taker. Something about a note taker is that it has those online services. So I have access to do a Google search. I have access to go online and search or navigate any website that I might need to navigate. And then on top of it has email. It's great for students in terms of taking notes, composing what you need to compose, and then of course searching and doing and utilizing your research, as well as we as professionals need to do the same thing as far as go to meetings and take notes as well. So this is very lightweight and a very portable. It's probably the most portable device that in terms of a note taker that currently you can use. I also wanted to talk about in another category. This, if you notice, is a more robust device. It's called the Monarch. It's in the tactile graph category. And as opposed to the one device here that has 32 cells, one line, this is going to allow for 10 lines of 32 cells going from left to right. So you're going to have quite a bit. I could read the line before, the line after, as well as I could read tactual graphics. So I want to make sure that when I turn on the device, I want to make sure you get a chance to see what happens. So it says starting Keysoft here at the top. And now look at that. You should see a monarch butterfly, and I'll be able to feel that monarch butterfly there. And so it's just, so now we see the main menu says Braille Editor. So we have Braille Editor, Tactile Viewer, email. If you notice, this device, it has a lot of the same types of applications that I found on the note taker, but it's on this larger device. So to me, it's not as portable, but it is. I could set it on any tabletop and still be able to use the word processor, the math. This is big. Over the years, I've heard of somebody having an audio graphics calculator, but on this device now I have a tactile audio graphics calculator. This is what we actually need, is something that we can feel. We need to be able to feel the graphics. And so we can look through here. We notice, again, this was developed by HumanWare. So very tactile centered device where we have, look at that. It's the panning button, something I could feel there. And these are these D-pads, directional pads here on either side, these panning buttons that I can use to navigate. Very intuitive navigation. And then I have something different here, is that I could, if I read somewhere, say I'm in this menu, if I notice, I don't know if you notice here, but off to the left of any menu item, we have this full. It's more than a full cell. It's like 9 key cells here, and it's indicating that this is where the cursor is. You say, well, no, I want to do something faster, so I'll say here's the tactile viewer. So I want to get into the tactile viewer. So if I place my finger here and I go to this circle is called the action button. And so if I press, I have some samples here. 50 states here is one that watercolor and brush, atmosphere layers, golf balls. So this is the 50 states. It starts out with the image that's right there in the center of the of the screen there is that's the 50 United States there. And you say, well, if I have the option to say, I could move this around, I could rotate it, I could say, all right, this is about where Texas is. So you know what? I'm gonna look at that a little closer. So I want to focus in on that, and then I can zoom. I could see that, and then we're at the point where I can zoom. I could also, you know what? I want to see it with a little bit more detail, so I can get it the thickness in to see the detail there. And I see Texas. And then over here, I see, oh, look at that. I see a border between Texas and New Mexico. And I see the letters that indicate that these are, where each state is. So it's very, very important that I could zoom in. I could also pan around and start to see more about, hey, here's Oklahoma. So, there's so much to these that now I have access non-visually to the United States map, and this is an awesome way to learn the relationships between the United States. It's a very powerful device, the Monarch. Very powerful in that in the calculator I could put in expressions and graph lines. I could now connect to the PC and navigate and use Excel. So many different things that I have. It's, like I said, it stands alone, but I could also now connect it to the PC and use it as in terminal mode. But in terminal mode, I could also, have access to, say, Excel or Word. One of the big things about looking at the my writing in Word, then I have more understanding of how the layout of my information, like formatting. I could see, if I have any indentations or paragraph breaks and that sort of thing. So it's so important to, in both these cases, to have literacy and be able to read the information. I mean, it's going to be better than using the information in an audio format. I can learn the audio, but if I can read it, it's going to be so much better. And with this case, I could read, several lines per, maybe a paragraph here in some cases, and then on top of it, to have access to the graphics and to perceive. We didn't have graphics for so many years, but now we have it. So it's one thing I do know is that I had to grow into to really, perceiving and making sense of some of the things that I was feeling. But this is one that really was meaningful to me in terms of the 50 states, because just to know this, some things I got a chance to understand even more than when I could see is the relationships between the states. So it's awesome way to learn and actually have, if you don't have the visual perceptual ability, to have this tactual graphic ability. So both these devices are good for students. This would be an awesome device for STEM students who really need to. Let's look at the various tables and graphs and and to look back over your writing is going to be important. saw that at myself as a student. Is I could hear it, I could go through all the spell check, but I could still catch, uh, errors, or I could catch, hey, I really wanted to say this, but I could understand, I could recognize that more when I was reading it back myself. So the Monarch is an awesome device to have as a student. It's very, like I said, very robust. It connects with Bluetooth, and it has, let's see, the Victor reader, and can access all of your books as well. But it's a little more robust in that. It won't be something that you might you get out and use on the go. It's one that you'll put on the tabletop and then open up and write, just like as if you were at your desktop computer.
Hello, this is Brian Lewis. Today I'd like to show you two devices in our desktop video magnifier category. This category contains devices that are beneficial for those who have low vision and could benefit from magnification, color contrast. For example, some people might have an eye condition that has photophobia or brightness sensitivity. So sometimes changing the color contrast can help them view it better with a darker background. Also, these devices have a feature called OCR, also known as text-to-speech. And this is a function that will allow a camera to take a picture of text and read it sort of like a screen reader. This is helpful for those that might experience eye fatigue or just would rather listen instead of struggling to look to get that audio access. The first device I'm going to show to you is the MagnaLink Vision TTS by LVI, Low Vision International. This is a 27-inch monitor device. Also, all desktop video magnifiers have what we call moving XY trays, and that's a tray under the camera that will allow you to move the document around underneath. On this device, I can lock or unlock this tray by sliding the lever to the left or to the right. Directly below the monitor is the magnification control, so I can turn this to the right to make it larger. To the left is the power button, and to the right of that magnification control is color contrast. So we've got combinations of black, white, and yellow, either for the text or the background. White on black is a typical contrast that's preferred by most low vision people. To do OCR on this device, there is a wired controller with 3 buttons. On the very bottom is an orange button. I'm going to press that once to get it into OCR mode. And I'm going to press it again to take a picture.
Ethnicity and very different cult in the plains of why other peoples with area and they turn to a limited offer the carrying maritime powers with picking up any Norwegian least profitable as.
Now above this button are 2 circular buttons that you can use to control the speed or volume.
Volume 70.
And this volume knob, if I push it, it will pause that OCR. 70. And the top button I can use to change the speed if I want it read faster or slower.
Speed 120.
And there's 3 buttons towards the top. The button number 2 is going to toggle it back to the magnifier. And the second device I'd like to show to you is our Topaz OCR. To move the XY tray for the Topaz OCR, I'm going to push this lever forward in the center. And to lock it in place, just pull it back out. On the far left, we have our brightness control. In the center, we have magnification. And on the right, we have color contrast. Here we have combinations of blue, yellow, black, and white for either the text or the background. To do OCR on the Topaz OCR, that function works all by touchscreen. So I'm going to touch the bottom right part of the screen. And it's going to prompt you to center your document. So you're going to want to center your document within the border on the screen. And when you're ready, just touch the middle.
Pacific and South Atlantic. It is less likely to keep them in the Northern Hemisphere, where most of the world's land and people are.
And so now, once you have an OCR result on the touchscreen, you have large print control buttons on the bottom. In the center, you have play and pause. On the left, you can zoom in if you'd like to look along visually as it's read. The blue speaker buttons are for volume, and the green buttons, one for a person standing still and one for a person running, is to change the speed of the voice. If I want to take this back to the magnifier, I just push the red X on the bottom corner. So these desktop video magnifiers are good for employees or students who need access for non-digital materials. Some examples of those might be anything that's printed out or forms that require signatures. If you have any kind of work tasks, like maybe an engineer might need to view a circuit board, or sewing perhaps, or if you need to look at the label on a medication bottle. The camera are good for those tasks. For students, some examples might be hard copy textbooks, anything that's printed out. If they have a professor who's still using printed syllabi, that's another good example for these. And that is our desktop video magnifier category. I'd like to show you two devices, one in our portable video magnifier category and another in our handheld video magnifier category. These are beneficial to those with low vision who may benefit from magnification, color contrast, and OCR, or text-to-speech, which is a function that allows a camera to take a picture of text and read it back to you. This portable video magnifier device I'd like to show first is called the Cloverbook Excel Pro by SiteCare, and this has a 16-inch monitor. The dual monitor setup is an option, so here we actually have two monitors that are connected with an HDMI cable. On this device, in the center, you have a toggle that will allow you to move the camera once you're zoomed in. So here to the right of that, we can increase our magnification. And now we can move the camera around up, down, left, or right with ease. To the left of that is color contrast. So white on black is a typical preferred selection for color contrast. Here we also have some yellows, blues, in combination of both the text or the background, depending on your preference. This device has a separate camera for distance viewing. So this little antenna looking thing is a distance camera. The way that you can switch to that is over to the side on the far left. If we press the upper button, now we can view across the room. So we have a whiteboard across the room here. We can zoom in on that and also change the color contrast if we'd like. This distance camera turns all the way around the room and can face any direction in the room. So if you're looking at say a college professor writing on the board and you want to follow him along, you can just turn that distance camera. This device might be beneficial for those that are working and might be at a business meeting. Either if you're trying to view a presentation, let's say that you wanted to look at the person who's presenting or any kind of visual presentation that might be given in the back of the room. And if you wanted to follow along with a script or take handwritten notes down below, on this device you can actually split the screen. So if I press that distance camera button one more time, now we have both views. This could be beneficial for students if they want to take notes of what the professor is writing on the back of the room and also magnify what's down below, which could be, say, a syllabus or handwritten notes, maybe even a textbook. On the Cloverbook, the dual monitor is optional. So if you're looking for portability and you just want to use the one monitor, you can disconnect this HDMI cable. Now we have split screen just on the lower monitor, and the zoom and color mode is going to apply wherever the red highlight is. So right now, zoom and color mode is applying down below, and if I tap the top section, now zoom and color mode is going to apply to the distance view. And we can just press that button a few more times. You can split the screen left to right if you prefer that, over top to bottom, and we can bring it back to original. To do text-to-speech on this, there is a button on the far right with the letter T. So if we press that, that will take a picture.
Features as of 9 to 2025 WWW Ally Me Glasses, Natural Language Interface, Conversational Al Assistant Ali Scan Text.
And on this device, we can play, pause, and we can adjust the speed of the voice by sliding the slider left to right. This device folds up very easily, so if we turn off the power, you'll tuck the monitor down once and then a second time, and the distance camera folds back. This device has a handle for easy carrying. This device is in our handheld video magnifier category. This is the Ruby Excel HD by Freedom Scientific. It's about 5 inches. These are beneficial for being out and about and viewing small labels, like a grocery store label or a filing label. It has 2 handles, one that comes out from the back. You can set this down on the desk and glide it around a print document as you're reading. And it also has a handle that folds out from the side if you would like to use it, say, as a digital magnifying glass. The zoom controls are on the right. There's a plus and minus button to zoom in and out. And then on the left are 2 toggle buttons for color contrast.
Access activated.